Hey guys, Papa Elbug here. We're gonna talk about the new update. I'm gonna start here. We're just gonna talk through it. I got some things to say about it. I'm using the new frame for Runa. Just gonna be running through some missions, just some relics because I have like way too many relics and I need to get some reactions so I can open some the relics. So anyway, yeah, we're just gonna do this. So we're gonna talk about it. Final thoughts on the update. That's what the title is gonna be. So, I think the content that was in the update is actually pretty good. I mean, we got a new frame and she's pretty good. Her weapons, I mean, her primary is supposed to be really good, except you need headshots, and I mean, getting consecutive headshots with the controller is not necessarily the easiest thing to do in the world, but definitely if you have a mouse and keyboard, that'd be a lot easier to use, and I think it does have some redeeming qualities. I mean, you don't need to get 4 in a row anymore because it'll instantly kill it, and I think D made a good change that way about not making you get all 4 in a row because a lot of enemies will die too fast, which I think that's a pretty good change that they made to it, and I'm actually happy they took community feedback on that one to improve something. But there's also other, like, major issues with the update, and the primary, or the melee they added, I mean, it's a heavy attack melee, so that automatically just makes me uninterested. I'm pretty sure I'm not even the only person who believes this, but I mean, if I see heavy attack focused weapon, I just lose interest. It's just not a playstyle I like. I mean, I like being able to be fast, and a slow, bulky weapon isn't gonna really do anything for me. But it does have solid slash, and it is, just what you'd expect out of a heavy attack melee, I guess. But again, it's not my interest. Runa, I mean, it's the wolf frame. It's supposed to be a werewolf from what people were telling me. I don't know. People are kind of mad it's not, but it's still, she's pretty good. Her 4th ability sucks, but at least with it doesn't suck, but you can use it for nuking, but it's really not great for the content I'd play, and it's kind of slow still. But yeah, her kit's pretty good for a melee focused build, and that's fine. It's good for endurance. She has 3 passives. That's something new. 4 passives, but after I subsumed one, it's only 3. Then yeah. So I think she's a pretty good addition to the game compared to some of the other frames that came out recently, like Lavos, Ureli, Grendel, which Grendel actually got a big buff, but talk about that later. But on release, she was horrible. Then Zaku was also pretty bad on release. I mean, he was good for endurance like he is now, just he definitely needed to get worked out a little bit. There's other frames too. Gyre, that's also kind of I mean, she's good, but not like the most optimal frame for every situation. So yeah, Varuna's actually been pretty good. But I feel like she falls under the same category as Sevagoth, where both frames are good, it's just I don't see the casual player base, like, just casual player base, who usually use like a Mesa, Wukong, Saren, that type of stuff. I just cannot see them really using Varuna that much. Maybe it's just me, but I do not see her being a frame for just very generic, like your average, I don't know, MR15 that's just, plays the frames they want, and then, just wants just to like speed run relic missions and stuff. Like I'm doing it with her right now. She can actually speed run relics pretty easily, but like, just not the most optimal thing. She doesn't have a use in like regular non-steel path survival, I'd say. Like, she's still good in it, but like the thing is, there's better alternatives. If she's not, even though you can make her a nuke, she's not really a nuke, and that's okay. I mean, not every frame has their own purpose, except Inaros. Inaros's purpose is for bad players to use him and bring him to high-level missions, and then wonder why they have 3 kills at the end of the match. But anyway, outside of my Inaros hate, I mean, Varuna's is good, and if they continue to make changes to her, I think she'll be really good, and she'll be I think she could definitely become like a lower A tier frame, like on a D to F or D to S to D scaler. I could put it either way, but she could be a very good frame. Like, she wouldn't. Would she be the top frame in the game? No, I don't. I just don't see her playstyle working like that. But I do think she can still be one of the better frames and one of the go-to frames for X situation. Whatever like whenever she finds her niche, that's gonna be the go-to frame. But my only other concern with her is she's kind of a solo-focused frame. She can't really work in a, which isn't a horrible thing. It's just, and especially because you might not even need to play with people if Warframe servers keep sucking. But I'll get to that. So the next thing I'll talk about is the new content and acquisition of these new Warframes and all that. So Varuna and her weapons are acquired through the new survival missions in the Void. Not the Void, Lua, my bad. Conjunction Survival. And basically what it is exact same as Survival, but then there's sentience mix, like a lot of sentience mix in, which actually get really annoying because they'll one tap, and then the Thrax enemies. And the Thrax enemies drop Luothrax Plasm, which is used to build the frame, and then it is used to build, or then you can buy with, you can buy her parts from one of the people on the Zeraman ship, so that's always good. There's multiple ways to get it, so if you don't get perfect RNG, you can still, get the frame, which I like, and that's great. But and then obviously it's pretty high levels for the, and you can get to high levels, especially on Steel Path. You get instant like 180s, which a lot of people want to test stuff out will like. I haven't really used that yet, or really done any of that yet, but I do see the advantage of having that. But the Thrax enemies, I wish there's a way to like not always have those. That's kind of dumb to say, but like to like not have the Thrax always, because I like having the high levels. It's just the Thrax get obnoxious, and but it's the way it is. I honestly shouldn't be mad about it, because it's not really mad about it. Just like, it is what it is, but it does take away, like, you have to switch, especially if you get the Sentience, the Acolyte, and the Thrax enemies. It gets like, extremely hectic, and it's annoying, especially once you get to the 300s. It's like, that's when I started to have like major problems with the squad I was running with. But, with the right gear, like anything in Warframe, you can do it, no problem. So then we have the problems with the new content. That is all the content. Like, that is basically all the new content from this update. They bug fixed a few frames, they bug fixed Ureli. Grendel's actually pretty good with his Nourish now. I haven't got to test that out yet because I got rid of Grendel before Helmuth, so I'll have to get another Grendel, and I don't really want to because, well, nobody wants to do that much. Well, arbitration part ain't bad or nothing, it's just the no mods is gonna make it a little bit difficult, but, it's good, and I'm sure there's some really good synergies that go between it, and saw other content creators looking at that stuff, so if you're interested, check them out after this video, of course. Then there is the problem with the replayability. If you are a casual player and are trying to get into those missions again to get to get the high level of enemies that come from it, there's really no, after you get the initial content out of it, there's no more for you to do. That is my #1 issue, and that's kind of the issue I thought there would be on day one, which that is true now that I've unlocked all of the stuff, and honestly the arcanes don't really concern me at all because they're arcanes. Let's just face it, nothing's gonna upset the my energize, so like, and then I will usually just run like a Guardian or something else with that. Not like that's the most optimal setup, I'm not saying it is, it's just, unless it's like something specific, I'll just run like, like Mesa uses Velocity, but there's just so many builds. It's like there's not much flexibility, at least with the way I run my builds for the arcanes, and half the arcanes in this game are useless, so, or very specific. That kind of work in weird builds. So I haven't really I haven't seen really any of the new arcanes yet, but I'm not gonna completely write them out or nothing. I'm just not it's not what's drawing me to the. It's just it hasn't been a draw to me. And I feel like a lot of players are the same way. Nobody's just gonna grind out the arcanes. So yeah, that's just the way I feel. Then there's the other part of this update, and there's no replayability. Like there's no. And like after you have the Lilith Rex spot, like what are you gonna do with the rest if you ever want to get that resource again? Like I'm sure they might add some other stuff in the future, but like what is there to add? I guess like what else can they really do? My idea is that you can use the Lilith Rex Plasm, and other things based on RNG can be added to that store. Like for example, you could throw in Harrow's parts. I know what somebody's gonna say about that. Like can't do that because. Well, nobody will play Defection or whatever and go out of their way for that. And I just like, one, they should just add that stuff because it's endgame already. And I think if people have worked to that point, they should be able to bypass the annoying grinds that, I mean, it's already an annoying grind, but like, the parts are already like, what, 75, 100 to get the blueprints for, and they could even make it higher too, so if you want to, still want to bypass, let's say you want, you need 700, not 700, just looked at a, I saw a number somewhere and thought 700. Mind's playing tricks on me again, but like, but I mean it's like some way to bypass like some of the grinds that nobody really wants to do, and it's like I think Harrow's a perfect example of it. Gauss, I guess, if people don't want to play that, Ash, or basically anything that comes from Railjack. So. They wanted to add that, I could totally see it, or even better, weapons that nobody wants to grind for. I mean, perfect example, the Breton Vandal, I think is what it's called, or whatever the ones that come from Sanctuary Onslaught, like, that have like a 0% drop chance for me. Like, I've not like needed them or nothing, but like, I've been wanting to get those for a good while now, and it just, you know, hasn't happened for me, and it's not fun to just grind Sanctuary Onslaught all day. Yeah, sure, you'll get your overall kill count up by like 1,000, but nobody wants to do that. But anyway, back on track, yeah, they could just do so much more with that, but I just don't see it being executed right now, so if they want to consider adding that, I can totally see it and support it. Next thing I want to talk about is the, what else did I want to say? Here's something else I wanted to bring up. I'm just doing this like right off the top of my head right now, so it's a little unclear right now what I was thinking. Yeah, I don't know. Or they could have like relics, and I don't know, like relic packs, Kuva. Like just give another reason. Like have that be like an alternative to like grinding arbitrations and stuff. Like play those, and you can get like Kuva, and I don't know. They could make it a lot better. So another thing I was thinking of, and this is something that's bothered me a lot, I've been getting I get extremely pissed off when this happens to me, is the connection problems on this game and the future moving forward on it. I mean, it's basically getting obnoxious now with how bad I play on PS4, okay? I cannot control PS4, and playing on PS4, and you could say, well, just play a different thing, I'm not starting over, and I feel like that's not really practical, and I think a lot of people could agree with me on that one, is it's not practical to completely start over just so I can have a little bit better servers. But what happens is they'll say connecting to host or whatever, and then it'll happen to be like lost connection to host, back to main lobby, and this is what infuriates me more than anything in this game. If you cannot get me into that server, load me into a different one. Instead of wasting so much time, because you can even see when I'm running through these missions on PS4, solo mind you, look at how slow the connection is. And how slow loading times. A lot of PC players wouldn't see that, but it is. It's pretty bad. And I think that could use, that that could be addressed, and they don't want to, and it's horrible because I'll play with my PS5 friends, or I try playing a little bit cross-platform, but they need to really do something about these load times, and it's like I don't know why it says, or it'll say, oh, the session was full, going back to lobby, and just like at least find a different server to play with. And I can understand how it happens, you load in, but then somehow I think what happens is like a PS5 or, well, this was what happened before, like let's say you're playing on PS4, you get a PS5 player, they load in faster than you, and then they just get in the mission first. So they should definitely do that, and I think they should also possibly try, I don't know, they have to do something about that. Because at this point, it's like they really need to start fixing this game up a bit. It's like if they're really going to go through the whole mobile thing, and I can make a video on why I disagree with mobile so much, but I don't have the time in this video. I kind of want to start wrapping this up soon enough, but yeah, not my wouldn't be my first idea for this game, let me tell you. So then anyway, moving on from that, it's yeah, just the lack of content and the lack of direction this game has. It seems like they're only focusing on mobile, and I get it. They basically were told, make mobile, and we'll give you a ton of money. And it's a financial choice they had to make. I get that. But, like, you still need to focus on your game. It's just, and, I mean, honestly, if they would just let players, like, I feel like if they'd have more community and just, like, work with the community a bit more, and it'd make it a lot better. Let's see what I want to say. So, we're not doing the self-damage thing, and I'm fine with that, because obviously self-damage is, I mean, they would still probably have self-stagger in there too if it was self-damage, and I don't really know. But I feel like a lot of people would disagree with that because, well, let's just face it, I think a lot of people would detonate their pentas underneath themselves and stuff. A lot of the new players wanting less particles would probably blow their pentas up on themselves, so then they'd want it removed, so. But I think, honestly, opening the gates to other community, like the mobile community, would really hurt the game. They would be and if they're going to take forever to load into games and stuff, like, I don't know, they need to do something about the loading times. It's going to really hurt the game. But I'm just starting to ramble on at this point, so I'm going to end it here. So, if you guys enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, comment if you want me to do anything different. I'm hoping to get a video out tomorrow. It's going to be a little bit more informative. I've been spend a lot of time, when I say informative, I don't mean like a build guide. I mean like actually just like how to farm, something I'm not going to say what it is yet, but like I'm going to try to get that out. I want to try some different content and see how it goes over on the channel, see if I can get the numbers up a little bit, and try to see like what I can, or like who wants to, who I can try getting on the content, or who I can get my content out to. Sorry about stuttering. And, yeah, anyway, I'll keep grinding these relics. Hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see ya.